Here's my electric toothbrush, and you can see even after a short time the battery flashes saying that it's low after only, I think, a day maybe. So I'm going to replace the battery in here. And to remove the battery, you need, on this particular one, there's a special tool built right into the plug here, and it just goes into the bottom, and you rotate it to turn it, to get it loose. And then you just have to pop the bottom off. And use a screwdriver to do that. Now on mine, this here would actually rotate, but it wasn't actually doing anything. And what I found was the threads here, when you're rotating that, the threads had actually broken. So I'm not sure if it was glued or just over time it had seized up or whatever, but it had broken off. It still holds on with a friction fit, so that's good enough for now. Now to remove you have to remove the whole internal guts of this, and you have to remove this clip at the top, and there's kind of a rubbery stuff here, and you can get it up underneath here and lift that up. It may be a little bit harder than that. Mine actually ended up cracking, so there's a little crack in there now. But once you get that out, then the internal mechanism is free to come out. You just have to go inside here. There's a couple clips, one on this side and one on the other side, and you just need to push those in a little bit. And at the same time, I'm going to be pushing this in. So I'm going to be pushing that in. It won't come now, but if I pop the clips out here, and like I said, there's one on either side. There's possibly a tool that you could use to do that, but like in the factory, they maybe have a special tool, but oops. And there's the two clips that you need to remove, not remove, but push in. Right here, you just have to push that in a little bit, like that, on either side, and then it'll push the whole mechanism out. So these wires on mine are broken. That happened when I took it apart because the spring put pressure on and just snapped those basically. So I might try to solder those back on, but the toothbrush will work without these wires hooked up. This is how it determines whether you're pushing too hard with your toothbrush and being too aggressive. So that's that sensor in here to determine that the mechanism is having using too much force to brush on your teeth. So it assumes that you're pressing too hard with your toothbrush. So we can try soldering those back on, but it'll work fine without it. So we need to get this battery out. So I think what we're going to have to do is, looks like one of the solder points is right here, and that's the positive side. The negative side is back here under the battery, so we're going to have to pull this battery out. So there's the Torx screw that we have to remove, and I have a screwdriver that came with my Ring doorbell, and it seems to be the right size. I went through all my other bits, and nothing else seemed to fit. So I've just pried it up and then slide it towards the bottom, and we've got it off. So it makes its connection through this piece here, and this piece might drop out, so be careful. This is where it makes its connection for the LCD display, so make sure that doesn't drop out, and that connects against these pads here. So we need to unsolder this spot and this spot to get the battery out. Okay, there's both tabs free. So now we'll just have to take out the battery. And I believe we should be able to just compress the spring and lift it out. Oops. So there's the battery. We'll have to look up to see what the capacity of this one is. So alternatively, what you could do, instead of unsoldering that, you could try prying the tab off of here and then try soldering it. When you have the battery in here, try soldering the one tab to the other, but I think this is going to be better, except the only problem I see right now is the batteries I have. So the battery I bought is approximately the same length, maybe a little bit longer. The original battery is a little bit bigger in diameter, so I'm hoping the capacity is going to be pretty close, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to fit. The only problem I see is the tab itself is a little bit bigger on my new battery. So I'm just going to cut the edges of the tab down with some snips to bring it within the same size. Now before I put the battery in, what I noticed on mine was that the motor assembly, it's all loose here, and that's probably what caused these wires for the sensor to snap. Is once I got it all apart, the spring pushed it and it just had nowhere to go. So I don't know why it's so loose. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just wrap some tape around here. I have some Captain tape. So we're just going to put a few wraps on here. I was curious of the capacity of the old battery, and this is what it is. 811 milliamp hours. And that's the old battery that was in the toothbrush. Here are the batteries that I ordered. They're supposed to be 2300 milliamp hour batteries, so I'm going to throw them in a charger and see if they're accurate, at least at first. So we'll have to. So I'm going to throw them in the charger here and do a charge-discharge cycle. Oops. So it's going to do normal test. It'll charge them up and then discharge them and tell us how much, what the capacity of the batteries are. Here we have the final capacity of the batteries. You can see they fall a little bit short of their expected 2300 milliamp hours. That could be due to the fact that they're new. Possibly after a cycle or two they might go up. Usually they go down, but for the benefit of the doubt, they seem to be close enough. Okay, let's get the positive side in. And you can see it poking through the hole there a little bit. Once I pop this in all the way, is it going to fold over? Okay, I've got the positive side in. You can see it sticking through there. I'm going to get the negative side in now. And this one's going to be a little tricky because it's off to the side. And there it is, poking through just a tiny little bit. Try and grab hold of it and pull it through. Now we'll see if I can get the spring in after the battery's in. You can see how this battery is fitting there a little bit loose because it's a different size. Same voltage though. Oh yeah. So I was able to put the battery in and then put the spring in. I'm going to tack this side, or solder this side. That was nice and easy. Now I'd like to pull the negative through just a bit more. Yeah, it looks like this should go down more. Yeah, there we go. So I was able to push the battery down and then it went in a little bit more. So now I'll be able to pull that tab and bend it over. You can see the tab there now. And I just need to solder it. So it's all soldered. We possibly are able to power it up. Well, maybe it needs the display to power up properly. Okay, let's hook up the display. Making sure we don't lose that pad there. And it still thinks the battery is empty. So I've just dropped on the display and it says that the battery is empty, but this is a fully charged battery. So I'm just gonna throw the cap on the bottom and throw it on the charger and see what happens. Try and do it so you guys can see. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble it. I believe the battery is, I believe the circuit has learned the pattern of the old battery, and so it thinks that the battery is not fully charged, or maybe it needs to learn because it's got a new battery in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and use it. The wires over here broke in a different spot, so I'm not going to bother fixing that. The only thing that does is shows that that you're pushing too hard on your toothbrush. I'm not concerned about that. You can't really see it when you're brushing your teeth, so I'm not concerned about that. If you want to fix that, you just resolder those wires or add some extra wires on there. So when you slide this in, you want to make sure you get it in. Perhaps don't push on the end here, push where in the center there. And you should hear it click when it goes together. Like that. Put that on. And then the clip on the top. So if you need to clean this up at all, get rid of some of those dirty marks because you're brushing your teeth right after working on the car. Magic Eraser works really well for that. Cleans it up. So there it is after cleaning with the Magic Eraser. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'm going to drain the battery right down. I won't put it back on the charger. I'm going to drain the battery right down, see how many days it takes to drain it, and then I'll charge it back up and see if the battery full display corrects itself. Okay, so here's an update on the battery life. The battery display is showing properly that it's full. It seemed to need to be discharged completely and then recharged. I don't know if the circuit needed to learn the new battery or how it determines that the battery is full, but it's working properly now. After a day or two of use, it still will say it's fully charged, and then it slowly goes down, but the battery seems to be lasting at least a week and a half, almost 2 weeks with regular brushing. So the battery has definitely made a huge difference, and the battery display is working properly. I never did fix the wires, so when I turn it on, I get that thing saying that I'm brushing my teeth too hard, but usually I'm holding on to the handle, so I don't see it anyway, so I figured I'm not going to bother fixing that. But it was those 2 wires that are up there that would fix that if you're concerned about the display. All right, we'll see you in the next video.